Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The current moment is not good, due to several player injuries. Executives are looking to make effective moves to bring in a big player. Warriors will pursue Cameron Johnson. The good vibes the Golden State Warriors began the 2024-25 season seem to be all but gone by now. It seems like a long time has passed since the Warriors started off the campaign by winning 12 of their first 15 games, as they have fallen all the way down in the Western Conference standings even after scoring a huge slump-busting win in a classic trap game over the Houston Rockets with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green missing due to injury. For a team that prides itself on depth, dating back to their strength in numbers days, they are experiencing firsthand how detrimental having too many rotation players can be. Players have been complaining about a lack of rhythm, with Moses Moody being perhaps the best example of a Warriors player who has struggled to establish a rhythm throughout his career after seeing his role get yanked around on a game-to-game basis. Thus, if there is any team that is ripe for a consolidation trade, it's the Warriors. Turning one or two of those solid rotation pieces into a higher quality players is very much worthwhile for the Dubs, so as to not fuel head coach Steve Kerr's temptation to play 12 to 13 players in every game. And with that in mind, here is the player that the Warriors have to trade soon and why they must do so if they were to climb back the upper ranks in the Western Conference. For a brief period, it looked as though the Warriors were on to something by starting DeAnthony Melton alongside Stephen Curry in the backcourt. And the results were pretty in the 2 games that Melton started. He gave Golden State a major defensive force at the point of attack, while also being proficient from the perimeter. Melton appeared to separate himself in the position battle against Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, and Moses Moody, just to name a few, only for him to injure his knee and have to undergo season-ending surgery to repair the damage. Since losing Melton, the Warriors have gone 3-7 to fall all the way down to 7th in the Western Conference standings. As unfair as it may seem, Melton's best utility to the Warriors moving forward is as a trade chip. His contract worth $12.8 million can be aggregated with other pieces to net them an upgrade, giving them another capable shooter who fits seamlessly in their offensive system. Melton was and continues to be beloved among Warriors fans. But he cannot contribute any more for the Dubs on the court for the remainder of the season. As the old adage goes, the final act of love is letting go, and perhaps Melton being a trade chip could be his final contribution to the franchise, at least for this season. Dubs use Melton's contract to trade for Nets' Cameron Johnson. Warriors trade DeAnthony Melton, Gary Payton II, Gue Santos, and 2025 first-round pick to the Nets for Cameron Johnson, can pull off trade beginning on December 15. It's no secret that the Brooklyn Nets have been dangling Cameron Johnson in trade talks ever since he arrived as one of the main pieces they got in the Kevin Durant trade. Johnson's value, however, tanked last season amid an injury-riddled campaign, and thus, the Nets decided it was for the best to hold on to the 28-year-old forward. Johnson, in turn, has been playing the best basketball of his career. He has been shooting lights out from the field this season, averaging 18.5 points per game in 2024-25 on 48/43/90 shooting splits, making him the perfect fit on the Warriors roster. The question now is, how much are the Warriors willing to give up in a trade for Johnson? Will they be willing to part with prized youngsters Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski? How about Moses Moody? Could Andrew Wiggins be somehow involved in a potential trade? The Warriors, considering how passive they've been on the trade market in recent years, will want to hold on to those players. If they didn't give Kuminga and Podziemski up in talks for Lauri Markkanen or Paul George, then they certainly won't do so for Johnson. Moody is ineligible to be traded. Wiggins is a critical two-way 3-and-D piece. Thus, the Warriors will build their offer around the contracts of Payton, Melton, and Santos, while offering the Nets their 2025 first-round pick, which, currently, will land as the 21st pick of next year's draft. Perhaps the Nets try and wrestle away the 2026 first-rounder instead, or maybe they can even hold out for a better return in terms of draft capital. But this could be a good starting-off point in negotiations between two teams that are shaping up to be ideal trade partners. Steph Curry's official injury status for Warriors-Timberwolves. The Golden State Warriors picked up a huge win over the Houston Rockets on Thursday night, snapping a 5-game losing streak while Steph Curry and Draymond Green were sidelined due to injury. When the team announced both Curry and Green would be out, many fans were ready to chalk up a 6th straight loss, but Golden State was able to continue its winning streak over Houston to make it 15 straight victories over the Rockets. Back in action again on Friday, the Warriors will look to make it consecutive victories when they host the Minnesota Timberwolves. Golden State has released its injury report for this game, and Curry is again listed. Per Golden State's official injury report, Curry is probable to play on Friday. Via Alan Horton of Timberwolves Radio, Warriors say Steph Curry, knee, Draymond Green, calf, and Gary Payton II, knee, are all probable for tonight versus Wolves, while Andrew Wiggins, ankle, is listed as questionable. This is consistent with what Warriors head coach Steve Kerr told reporters on Thursday when asked about the status of Curry and Green for this game against Minnesota. Via Anthony Slater of The Athletic, Steve Kerr said the plan is for Steph Curry to play tomorrow versus Timberwolves and reiterated it is possible Draymond Green also plays. While they were able to defeat Houston without Curry and Green, the Warriors certainly want their veteran stars available as often as possible. Warriors hope to have 2 stars back versus Timberwolves. Golden State coach Steve Kerr left the door open for Stephen Curry and Draymond Green to return to the lineup Friday in San Francisco when the Warriors take on the Minnesota Timberwolves to tip off a 3-day, 2-game, same-site sequence. The clubs, who have yet to face off this season, are scheduled for a rematch on Sunday, also in San Francisco, mirroring an NBA-style doubleheader they had last November, also in California. The Timberwolves swept those games, the second of which having been memorable for Green putting Rudy Gobert in a headlock, drawing a 5-game suspension. On Thursday, Curry was resting sore knees and Green a painful left calf when the Warriors did what they do best, beat the Houston Rockets 99-93 at home on the front end of a back-to-back set. Jonathan Kuminga provided the late-game heroics to cap a career-best 33-point performance, while Andrew Wiggins added 23 points and 9 rebounds, helping the Warriors snap a 5-game losing streak by beating the Rockets for a 15th straight time. Kerr noted before the game that the ailments for Curry and Green weren't considered serious, but each has the potential to linger. So while playing on consecutive nights was out of the question, both Curry and Green were scheduled for re-evaluation Friday. And on his way out the door, Kerr thanked Wiggins for coming to the rescue against the Rockets. "I don't even know if he should have played," Kerr said, mentioning Wiggins' sore right ankle. But he knew Steph and Draymond were out and he knew how important this game was and he gutted it out. Iron Man. He's been that ever since he's been here. While the Warriors have dominated the Rockets over the years, it's been a while since they gotten the better of the Timberwolves. Minnesota swept last year's 3-game season series, giving the Wolves a 4-game winning streak against Golden State. The Timberwolves also have built a small run of wins over Pacific Division rivals of late, beating the Los Angeles teams a total of 3 times in a 6-day stretch through Wednesday. They are in the middle of facing Pacific teams 7 straight times, a sequence that began with a loss to the Sacramento Kings on November 27 and continues after the oversized Golden State visit with a second duel against the Lakers on December 13. The Timberwolves have held their past 3 opponents, the Clippers twice, sandwiching the Lakers to 92 points or fewer. They followed up a 109-80 win over the visiting Lakers on Monday, with a 108-80 shellacking of the host Clippers on Wednesday. Minnesota guard Dante DiVincenzo applauded the way he and his teammates responded to a 4-game losing streak that left the club with an 8-10 record early last week. "We're not worried about what other people are saying. "We're focused on ourselves and staying together," he said. "Stack a few wins and everybody's energy changes. So we just got to stay with it." DiVincenzo will be making his second trip to San Francisco since leaving the Warriors as a free agent following the 2022-23 season. He enjoyed his initial homecoming with the Knicks last March, contributing 18 points to New York's 119-112 victory.